How are you? Thank you to be here with us.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you for having me, and thank you for your time.
Okay, it's a pleasure. I appreciate if you can explain us who you are, because as you know, in Spain, Europe, sometimes you are very disconnected from the States because there's some news that doesn't arrive here, you know. So please let us know about tell us about your self and what happens to you. Thank you very much.
Yes, absolutely. So my name is Dr. Sanjeev Kumar, MD. I'm a leading robotic surgeon in the US. And my specialty is I'm double board certified in obstetrics and gynecology, as well as gynecologic oncology. That means I'm trained to treat women with the cancer of the reproductive organs like ovarian cancer, uterine cancer, cervix cancer, and things of that nature. So that's my specialty. And right now I'm going through some legal proceedings with the federal government that relate to utilization of hysteroscopy services in the clinic that is basically used to diagnose endometrial cancer and other illnesses of the uterus, as well as some billing issues and questions related to the cleaning of the instruments and those type of things.
Okay, and maybe you can tell us why starts to happen when it starts to happen all this mess you are facing right now. Why and when? Excuse me, but it's to be very precise. Thank you.
Yes. So the case started basically around the time of April 2024, when the FBI searched my clinic along with some other agencies and took away a bunch of instruments from the clinic, and they questioned the employees and wrote statements and things of that nature. And then basically they complained to the medical board that, hey, medical board, we believe that in this clinic the hysteroscopy services are being overutilized and the instruments are not being used properly or being handled properly, that type of allegation. And then the medical board actually investigated the complaint. They made an unannounced visit and they looked around in the clinic, interviewed me, took various photos, some videos and things of that nature. And then the investigators submitted a report to the medical board. The medical board then analyzed the situation, interviewed a lot of people, and then sent me a letter saying that we don't find anything that is wrong here. So they basically dismissed the case. The medical board dismissed the case. But the federal prosecutors nevertheless kept going with prosecution and basically indicted me federally in February of 2025. But the most shocking part of the indictment was that they basically leveled the charge of human trafficking, sexual assault, sexual abuse based on hysteroscopy services. So rather than these being medical services, they basically alleged that this activity was related with sexual assault, which was widely reported in the media, but it was wrong. and basically led to very, very catastrophic consequences for me, my family, for my patients, and the overall community. And then those charges were dropped, thankfully, after a number of months, but it continues to harm me still, and affect the overall case. After that, I went through, after a bunch of other legal filings, I went through a trial in December, and after the trial, I got a mixed verdict, guilty on some accounts, and then hung jury on some accounts, and then we are in post-trial proceedings, which remain under seal. So that describes a brief summary of the case.
Okay. But as long as I can see, it starts in the Biden administration. It happened some years ago. It is right. You told about that. Can you see here something that it's like political persecution, something that you have been doing that it's not the protocol they were interested you to follow or anything like that?
Yeah, so it's difficult to actually pinpoint. Obviously, the case started during the Biden administration, and then spilled over currently. And so the basic sense is that facts are basically misrepresented, misunderstood, and they are used to target me in a tragic fashion. A lot of people who have looked at the case, they see that big travesty is happening. And when you look around the country, there is basically mass persecution of physicians. And we kept learning about shocking cases with a alarming level of frequency. And directly or indirectly, it gets tied to basically billing disputes with the government programs. So as you know, that in the US, the Medicare and Medicaid are the biggest government programs. It's a insurance-based system where as physicians provide services, if the patient is covered with those insurances, bills are being sent out to those insurances. And the regulations are vast. And I'm talking about thousands and thousands of pages. And they're densely written. And for a regular practitioner, it's very, very difficult to keep up with literally thousands and thousands of pages, especially if you consider that every now and then, one of the regulation changes, then this changes, that changes. And there are provisions out there where some of the language written is that, hey, if anything changes here in this vast document, then those changes automatically apply to you as a participating physician. And so it becomes very, very difficult to basically keep up with all of these changes on an ongoing basis. If you can imagine, let's say you were a participating physician in the program, and you signed a document, let's say 5 years ago or 10 years ago, and with laws being passed with a regular frequency, if you don't keep up with page 986, paragraph 3, line 2, then you could be in trouble. So that is that has given rise to a lot of controversy in the healthcare billing area, and then that can be charged with civil disputes or criminal disputes, and in some cases civil followed by criminal, or criminal followed by civil. It's like a very, very tangled web, so to speak. That is what the healthcare has become in the US, and it is affecting ultimately the patients the most, because if you think about it, if you basically extract brilliant, busy surgeons out of the community, then the patients who would have needed their services, they no longer can avail those services. It takes a tremendous amount of time to train a good expert surgeon. You literally go through decades worth of training to start doing what you do. And when something like this happens, the first thing that happens is you quit working, you quit doing surgery, you quit saving lives. So that ultimately affects the community in a big way. And a lot of times those changes are not evident right away, right? So let's say if you had 5,000 patients in your practice, and people had cancer, people had benign tumors, what have you. Once that physician is removed, the patients scramble to find a new physician. And if they are not as good, then I'm sorry, but you're out of luck, right? So those type of things happen. Many times, people don't even realize that it is happening. So it's the hidden burden of the medical persecutions that is affecting. By some estimates, I have read some articles that in America, the prosecution of physicians happens at a higher rate than any other country on earth, which is a bit shocking if you think about it.
Well, but I am not that. I think always is something behind anything that happens. Nothing happens because of casualty. So I can see here a pattern, because I remember the throwback cancer that was very popular some years ago, where we can see, as you are now mentioning and telling us, about the persecution that some physicians, some doctors like you are facing, not because a patient of yours have been affected and now it will be make sense, but because the government, the federal government in your case, it's acting in a way that it's very difficult to understand, in my opinion. What is your point now? Where are you now? And what do you ask the community to help you? How can we help you? That's the question now. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, so we are in the post-trial proceedings, which are under seal. So we cannot discuss those because they are under seal. At some point, when in future they will be unsealed, we'll be able to discuss them. But at present time, we cannot do that because of the court proceedings. However, the fellow colleagues in the community, they need to spread the awareness. That's the biggest thing, is that when a travesty is happening, spreading awareness about the issue generates a lot of positive thinking, and that's where those thoughts and the actions based on those become very, very effective in successful advocacy for these things. So the idea here is, I'll give you one example, is that hysteroscopy, for example, in my case, is used to diagnose endometrial cancer, right? Endometrial cancer is one of the fastest growing cancer in women. Every year, it is killing more people than it killed the previous year, right? And so naturally, if you prosecute a physician for doing hysteroscopy in the office, it will definitely discourage other people from doing that, because obviously nobody wants to be, prosecuted and put through this nightmare scenario, lose their career, their livelihood, and then, potentially even put into jail, right? Nobody wants that. Certainly when you train and become a physician, you don't want that outcome. So obviously it sends a chill through the medical community, which ultimately just harms the patients because they lose the access to the excellent physicians and surgeons in the community. And there are other ways to deal with the billing disputes, as I'm sure you know. I mean, there are arbitrations, there are, discussions, there are ways to analyze and educate people about these things rather than, try to punish them in a criminal fashion. So that's where the big problem is. And because we are in an insurance driven system, that problem is only increasing nowadays. You must have, heard about a lot of prosecutions related to pain management, for example.
Yeah.
What has happened now is, like yesterday, I was learning the story of a patient who said, I have chronic back pain and I can't get medication to get the pain treatment, because nowadays everybody's just so scared. All the physicians are so scared that they will not prescribe pain medications. In America, a lot of physicians who treated pain have been put in jail for a long period of time. And the same thing is happening with a lot of other cases. You're aware of Dr. Ron Elfenbein, his case, such a travesty that is. People need to spread awareness regarding his case as well. And remember, his centers were open throughout the COVID pandemic. So when everybody was kind of like hiding and not, going out and things of that nature, Dr. Elfenbein was going out and looking after patients, saving their lives. And after that, when this type of prosecution happens, your belief in the entire system just gets shaken very, very badly, right? So that is kind of how directly and indirectly people are being affected. I'm getting calls almost on a daily basis. A friend of mine who's a busy surgeon and a physician called me the other day. He said, I quit taking a Medicaid program. So think about it. A lot of patients rely on getting medical care on that program. But then anytime the program is involved, they know now that they can be prosecuted and can be put in jail for what? For doing their job, right? So it sends a lot of fear in the community. And then, a lot of other angles, like, the overreaching in terms of charging, like charging somebody for sexual assault for doing a hysteroscopy. Like in my case, I was charged with sexual assault, sexual abuse, and human trafficking, even when I was not in the clinic and one of my employees performed one of those procedures. I was not even around. I was not on site. So having such a, damaging charge level against your name can be catastrophic. Nobody wants that. And that is not good for anybody. It's a waste of even government resources, right? Because once the process is started, then a lot of government resources have to be spent to carry out the orders, the instructions, those type of activity. And whereas those funds should be utilized to treat needy patients, but now they're going in a different direction in a needless prosecution of a lot of innocent physicians. And so this practice is not yielding any positive results for anybody. It should be stopped.
Mhm. Absolutely. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, in my opinion, society have to act. It's because
Yeah.
of that I am here. Okay.
Yes.
I think we have to stop waiting. Then the administrations do things whatever they want, and we say nothing, because at the end, here we have the result, and it's
Yeah.
not good, not for you, not for us. Thank you
Anybody.
very much. I hope really things are going better for you and for us. And anyway, you have here always a place to speak out, and we have to join all of us. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.